Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where we continue our track-by-track listen through to Conqueror by BAND-MAID. Well, this is on the back as well, but it was upside down. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So we have moved on to track number 6 at the drop of a hat. As I always said at the beginning of these videos, this video is part of a playlist of, us checking every single track out and then a conclusion at the end. So if you're not already following it, it's linked in the description below and you can follow for all the tracks. So anyway, yes, like I say, we are on to track number 6. I forget things really easy at the drop of a hat. I forget things at the drop of a hat. Might be how I can remember the name of this song. So anyway, so far the album's been really interesting. We've had quite a lot of variation in the way that the album's mixed, the sort of sound, the writing style's been quite nice. Most of it has been hard rock. There have been more poppy songs like Page at the beginning, and then Endless Story was a little bit more poppy. It's nice in that it is definitely showing that variation I wanted from this album, and so far I am absolutely sure that this is an album that, at least up to this point, I would gladly listen to again, really enjoying it. However, I'm interested to see if they get a bit more experimental as we go on, what sort of other things they've got to sort of play with, because this is a 15-track album. As I said about World Domination, which I think was the same length, I did say the only problem with that album is that it did get to the point where some of the tracks felt a little bit unnecessary, like they were kind of like clones of other ones on the album to a certain degree. It was an album that probably some of my best, if not my best, BAND-MAID tracks are on World Domination, but as an album it probably wasn't my favourite in total. So I'm really I'm interested in seeing how this album keeps the interest alive, because it's doing a great job so far. Can I keep it going for the entire runtime? As always on this channel, we don't just go, wow, everything's great. We try to talk about it interestingly, start a discussion, and look to see if there's any critical points we can find as well. So I'm going to have a little listen to this track at the drop of a hat, because I wear hats because my hair. Or their lack of. So, we'll talk about this more after we've heard it, so let's see what we think. This is At the Drop of a Hat by BAND-MAID. That's sweet and poppy. When's it gonna turn rock? I'm loving that sound, that nice acoustic sound. Oh, programmed drums or electric kit? Electric kit. Oh, that's cool. I like how they introduced the guitar there, kind of quietly, but with a lot of bite. And then in comes the snare, punches things up more. Pretty damn good chorus. The riff almost sounds a bit Irish to me. It's kind of got that sort of Irishy, I can't remember the name of the instrument. Again, sounds very full, this one. Nice and big sound. Oh, that was an awesome drum roll. The toms there, loved that. I love that kind of almost free-form guitar happening there as well. Oh, nice little bass run as well. There's a lot of details again, a lot of details. Whoever's producing this loves doing funny little outros on the songs, and they are kind of cool. Little pizzicato strings happening everywhere. Lovely, lovely. Alright, yeah, there's quite a lot to say about this one. This one actually carries a lot of the same qualities that I was originally attributing to the first track, Page. In that it's sort of half tempo, or actually this is probably a bit slower than Page was actually, or maybe it's just the feel of it. But this has opened up a lot of room for them to put extra sounds in. I did like the choice to go for like an electric drum kit, which I think, I suspect this was either all recorded on an electric drum kit or maybe most of it and then certain bits were layered in. It did just sound to me like was a really interesting choice. You know, it kind of went with the style and sound of the music, and it was just good for making this sound a bit different from some of the other tracks. So that was a nice choice to put in there. Again, I think that Misa's bass work on this was really great, but it was kind of low in the mix. So as a result, it's kind of mostly subliminal. But if you're listening, she's doing some great stuff in there. I did like that when she did those sort of slides, those vroom, vroom sort of bits at the beginning of certain lines. I liked how that just suddenly came up out of nowhere. I was like, oh, there's the bass. Oh, when it's gone. Yeah, there was good little touches there on the bass as well, and her playing was great, although I think in general on this album the bass seems to be mixed a little bit lower than when you're normally used to them doing, but that might be in itself because of the fact this album is not quite as sort of thrashy, and usually with thrashier music you can turn the bass up into a slightly more audible area than you can with these sort of bigger arrangements where it kind of has to be moved down in the EQ slightly out of the way to make room for all the other things. Like I say, the beat was great, the bass was great, the rhythm section is always really phenomenal with these guys. You never get a sort of boring 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 with these guys. There's always something more interesting happening between the beats, keep things a bit more shifting, a little bit more funky. This one, like I say, I mean, this was not sort of like a funky, dancey song, but they did enough to keep that beat and rhythm interesting, and like I said, the bass and drums working very well together on this. The guitar, again, doing a similar thing to what it was doing once again in Page, in that you had a little bit of a sort of acoustic jangle to it, but it was nice how that really fleshed out the headphones. I'd be really interested to know what work Konami and Miku are taking individually and what they're putting together, because it seems like there's a lot of good guitar work going on here. And again, an element of restraint. I mean, there's no sort of big solo in this, but during the bridge, you can hear that, like I said, there's a bit of free-form guitar going on there, which I'm assuming was Konami, which was nice. It filled in and doing what a guitar solo would do, and giving that sort of bit of instrumental letting loose. But it did it in the context of a bridge with singing as well, so it was one thing complementing another. I mean, often with a guitar solo, we think, guitar solo has to be like, okay, everyone get out of the way, here comes the guitar. Which is, perhaps a bit of an archaic way of looking at it. You can have a guitar solo which is part of a bridge that's also being sung as well. Okay, then it's not really a solo. Okay, maybe I'm taking that a bit out of the way. But, you can basically use that theory in something other than just guitar plays on its own while everyone just stands back. So to me, this was a nice bridge. It nicely culminated the idea of a sung bridge and a solo together. I'm going to stop flogging that point. So that was really great. The vocals were quite simple. I don't think there was any need to do anything particularly complicated here, because this was one of those, it's more of a sort of big song. So yeah, I think the vocals were great as always. This is not like one of the standout Psyche performances, but I don't think this was one of those ones where I think it is kind of right for her again to show restraint. This is one where it's more of a restrained song. This is more about writing into the details, a lot like it was with Page. In a way, I would say this achieves kind of the same thing that Page did, but not quite as obviously memorably, which is probably why Page is at the beginning of the album. I think that this, though, is a good song in its own right. It makes a nice little break as well, considering where it stands in the album, because we're looking at, we've had kind of a bit of a loud, quiet, loud, quiet, loud, quiet thing going on. Well, actually, no, quiet, loud, loud, quietish, loud, quieter. that's kind of how it's gone so far. So it's been a nice balance. I think after 6 tracks, we've had 3 which have been kind of laid back, 3 which have been in your face. That's a really good ratio of laid back to in your face. I think 50-50 is great. That's kind of what we should be looking at. And so far, none of these songs have, well, I mean, Glory's been the most formulaically BAND-MAID, and they've all sounded like BAND-MAID, but none of them have sounded like, heard this before. You know, they've all sounded like, well, this is something new. It's not been, like I say, this sort of wild, mad experimentation that it perhaps could have been, but that's, you know, like I say, you've got to slip into that. Maybe after a few albums they might go a little bit more crazy. Maybe they don't have to. Maybe they're just kind of doing what they're doing. That's all kind of surmising and isn't really important. What's important is that they are trying new things on this album, and as a general, it's working and it's maintaining their sound. So I'd say that At the Drop of a Hat is a really good song. Again, they managed to make each verse sound different. Each second of the song had its own interesting things going on, and it was just generally likable. There's not really much more to say about it than that. This is just one of those songs where you listen to it and you go, that's a good way of sort of changing the mood mid-album without dropping the personality of who you are as a band. Now, as a result of this, the next one coming up is Wonderland. So I'm going to be listening to Wonderland next. If you are following in the playlist, you'll be coming straight over to that video after the little link cards at the end of this one. And of course, you can use that time to write some thoughts in the comments. Tell us what you think about this song as well. Be really interested to know what you guys have to say about this. If your opinions are different from mine, hey, music's subjective after all. I'm just really interested to see on how you justify your opinions, whether they agree or disagree with mine, so that we can have a good discussion about it. And as always, you know, there's the liking and the subscribing and all of these things. But main thing is, hopefully we'll be seeing on the next video soon. And for now, ciao, ciao. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out more of our hundreds of videos we got online on this channel right now, or get involved in the discussion with us at the many social media links we've got in the description below, where you can suggest new videos and artists for us to check out on the channel. Or you can just do the usual YouTube stuff and, you know, comment, like, subscribe. You know how this works by now.